Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Off the Cuff here at Oswego City Hall. I'm happy to bring some updates to you today. We'll start with maybe the biggest development from the last month, and that's a $120,000 increase in the police department's budget, and a lot of that money will be used to bring more enforcement details to the department. About 2 years ago, we allocated $90,000 to increase the amount of quality of life patrols, foot patrols, and special enforcement details on various different initiatives throughout the city. And we got quite a significant amount of results from doing those enforcement details and patrols. So we get together a lot of information, focus on quality of life issues and neighborhood disruption issues, and it is a really big help to being able to mitigate or solve some issues throughout the community. So what we wanted to do this year is even invest more in that area. So instead of $90,000 for 2 years, we're doing $120,000, and a lot of that will be spent before the end of this year. And we'll do different initiatives. So more foot patrols, more quality of life patrols. Of course, we've always been doing those, but a lot of this money will go to special investigations, drug enforcement, and other special initiatives, particularly like the homeless issue that we're dealing with. A lot of people have written to my office or commented that they see more homeless people in the community than they did before, and also they seem to notice more people on drugs, specifically Molly, in the community more than they ever have. And the fact is that that's true. And a lot of that can be attributed to the state's bail reform laws that took effect in 2020. You know, a lot of these people, when they're taking Molly, they commit smaller petty crimes like stealing, shoplifting, so that they can fuel their drug habit. And before the bail reform laws, these people would spend a lot of time in jail because they commit these crimes over and over and over again. What the bail reform laws did is made those crimes that they commit routinely not subject to being held on bail. So now they just get an appearance ticket and they walk. So the fact is you are seeing more of these people in and around the community, because before they would be in jail. So now they get to walk, and once they get that ticket, they go right back downtown, right back to the park, get their next hit of Molly, heroin, whatever it may be, and they get to, and that's why you're seeing them more. So that's just the reality of the situation, and it's something that we are adjusting to. We're going to have to continue adjusting, but it's going to take more money, because now it's just a constant cycle. You arrest these people, they get a ticket, they go, they commit more crimes. So it requires more attention, more resources, more time, more personnel to handle these issues. So regardless of what you think of the bail reform laws, that's just the reality of the situation. And you can't really say that it wasn't unexpected. This is something that law enforcement professionals and even electeds at different levels of government said was going to happen when they passed these laws, and that's proven to be right. So it's just a new problem we have to tackle, but it's going to take more time and money, and that's what a lot of this $120,000 in funding will go towards. In other news, we finally completed the mural at the Water Street Square. This was a large building mural that we started about 2 years ago. It actually incorporates some of the building's history and the function of the pocket park, which was the whole point when we sat down to come up with a concept and a design. So if you remember way back, Water Street, actually Market Street, which is the area where the pocket park is now, was just an empty dead-end road where 6 parking spots were, and the side of the building was really becoming deteriorated and had a really odd green paint on it. So once we completed the pocket park, now we have concerts there, as you probably know. We wanted to incorporate that building mural and complement the use of the park and the building history. So the first half of the mural is like a big band jazz 1920s themed mural depicting some of what we try to do at the Pocket Park, but then the other half of the mural incorporates the building history. In the building history, it's known as the Schilling Building because Frank Schilling owned it back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he was a music professor at SUNY Oswego, and he used that building as a music store where he sold instruments and other things related to music. And if you notice, there's still a pulley system because they used to lift pianos up off the ground using the pulley system that still exists and lower the pianos right into the building where they would be for sale. So if you look at that mural, you'll see some people hoisting a piano using a pulley system and somebody actually on the piano, and that's the entire story going with the building history. So it's pretty unique. I'm happy we finally got it done. You can see on any given day a lot of people down there taking selfies or group photos or acting as if they're part of the mural, which is pretty cool to see. So it's a great piece of art, and Marcus Osman was the artist. He's a local artist here in Central New York. Grew up in Fulton, I believe, and has an art studio and actually a tattoo parlor in Syracuse, I believe. So we thank him for his efforts. We're really proud how it turned out, and maybe we'll sprinkle some more murals throughout the city. We allocated $20,000, a $20,000 grant to Safe Haven Museum over at Fort Ontario from our American Rescue Plan funding. We gave earlier this year, we did about $225,000 to small businesses throughout the community from our funding, and then we did another $110,000 to nonprofit organizations. We're now giving Safe Haven $20,000, and we're doing another round of the Small Business and Nonprofit Award funding. We have about another $100,000 that we're going to allocate to different small businesses and nonprofit organizations throughout the city in the next couple of weeks. So we kicked that off with Safe Haven. It's such a unique historical asset here. We're the only place in the United States of America that took in Holocaust refugees escaping the Holocaust during World War II. So it's definitely a historical asset we need to highlight and promote, and a lot of this funding will help to offset lost revenue from being shut down during the pandemic, but also allow them to do some improvements. They just through a $100,000 grant from Senator Ritchie. They have all new exhibits, which is a bit more interactive. So the museum really kind of has a fresh start. So our 20 grand will help to promote the museum, make up some lost revenue, and continue some of those improvements and finish installing some of the exhibits that they have yet to install. So happy to provide that funding for them and encourage people to visit Safe Haven. We also recently announced Public Skate. We're expanding the hours available for free public skating, and we're using both city ice rinks at Kingsford's and over at the Fort. So what we hope to do is, through numbers, since we made public skating free in 2018, we've seen the numbers, with the exception of 2020 because of the pandemic, but we've seen numbers gradually increase. So what we're trying to do is expand hours at both locations to give more families an opportunity to get there and take advantage of the free public skate. And we hope by expanding hours, there's people that for whatever reason haven't been able to go, whether their parents work or they have different after school activities, they can't make it. By expanding hours, we give them a chance. We also have a lot of weekend hours now, more than we've ever had. So I encourage people to take advantage of that. Public skating opens on Tuesday, November 2nd, and will run through the winter, obviously. And then lastly, the holiday tree lighting ceremony is coming up. It's going to be held on Saturday, November 27th. The actual tree lighting is at 6 o'clock, followed by fireworks at 6:10 over the Oswego River. But similar to last year, we're going to do a live TV special program where you can actually watch it on YouTube or my Facebook channel. So you can attend in person. We'll have a live stage show for you to see in person, but if you can't make it, or the weather's too cold, or just don't want to leave the house, you can watch it live, and we'll have commercials, a TV program, so you can actually feel like you're there in person. We encourage people to come live, but again, if you can't make it, we want that option to be available. In addition to the fireworks and the tree lighting, we're also going to have a children's train ride that we had a few years back. We're going to have ice sculptures in different shapes and a live ice sculpting demo available. It's a whole bunch of other activities, carriage rides, Santa Claus will be there, and have some of the usual things we have each and every year. So we always have a really good crowd. Hopefully the weather cooperates, and we look forward to having a fun downtown event on November 27th, lighting up the tree and having the fireworks show. So that really gives you the rundown of what's happened here at City Hall the last month, and gives you an update on some of the upcoming events like the tree lighting and public scape that's coming up. Hopefully you can get out, take advantage of those events and activities. And that's it for this month, but we'll talk to you next month with even more updates and a look ahead at 2022. Thanks for tuning in.